Hello, my name is Yvette Stoffels, and I'm here with Henry Krasner and Amy Lefley. We are students from UCLA in the course of Physiological Sciences 121. For our community project, we decided to interview an individual affected by a muscular dystrophy condition in order to educate ourselves and peers on the psychological and social implications of being affected by Becker muscular dystrophy, or BMD. We reached out to various Facebook support groups for muscular dystrophy and related diseases to find individuals willing to participate in an interview conducted via Zoom.
So we interviewed a 15-year-old boy affected by BMD, and we came into contact with this boy's mother on the Facebook group titled Muscular Dystrophy and Neuromuscular Disease Support Group. Both him and his mother consented to this interview taking place. But however, the mother asked us to keep their names and this recording that we had with them anonymous for privacy reasons. So we are going to be summarizing their answers that the boy shared with us in the Zoom recording of this interview. So our aim of this interview was to get a glimpse of how BMD affects the psychosocial aspects of a patient's life and perhaps provide resources to help other patients struggling with the same or related disease. Mental health in general is still a very highly stigmatized topic. And although places like UCLA are a bit more cognizant and conscientious about mental health awareness, many places around the world still do not have adequate mental health resources and treat mental health as less important than physical health. Individuals affected by another disorder or disease tend to struggle with mental health issues as well. And we wanted to bring this issue to light in our community project.
So our first question was, what has your experience been with living with Becker muscular dystrophy? And our interviewee stated that he has adjusted to living with BMD, but there are still a lot of barriers, and he knows that he is not normal compared to his peers. He is currently on a steroid treatment in order to lessen his condition, but he and his family have also noticed that the steroids have affected his mood, appetite, and sleep patterns. He also mentions that he often finds it difficult to concentrate while doing schoolwork or other tasks because of ADHD, something that can often result from long-term steroid use. In his life, he has been able to make friends that do not care about his condition and treat him as normal, but he does not know anyone living with BMD outside of individuals he has met over support groups.
Our next question was, how has living with BMD affected your mental health? He said that this can be hard sometimes, especially seeing other people his age being able to participate in events that make him easily fatigued, like sports. Thankfully, his family and friends are incredibly supportive of him and do not treat him any differently. But he can't really talk to his friends about what it's like living with BMD because none of them know what it's like. He also added that the steroids make him irritable sometimes.
Okay. Our next question that we asked this individual was, what is something that you think most people don't know about BMD? And our interviewee states that he wishes people would recognize that even though he has this condition, he can interact with others just like everybody else. In addition to this, he mentions that when people learn of his condition, they often react with sympathy. Although he explains that most people have good intentions, he wishes people would react to the fact that he has BMD by simply being understanding and not treating him any differently because of this.
We also asked, how has BMD affected his family? He said his family is really supportive, but has to dedicate a significant amount of time to helping him with receiving treatment for BMD, which makes him sometimes feel bad. He has been taking steroids a lot, but he still feels like his condition is worsening. So his parents take time to research new treatment options, but a lot of them are really expensive and not approved yet. He hopes that in the future, a drug or therapy will come along. Also, some of him and his family members attend therapy sometimes, which seems to help.
The next question that we asked is, do you know anyone else affected by a form of muscular dystrophy? He has met some friends over support groups that his mom has connected him to, but no one in his immediate life is affected by BMD. BMD is a relatively rare disease affecting approximately 1 in 37,000 to 1 in 59,000 people. So it makes sense that he hasn't met anyone with the same thing.
The next question we asked our interviewee was, are you involved with any muscular dystrophy support groups? And if so, we would love to hear more about your experience. He stated that his mom found a support group on Facebook with other boys that are similar in age to him and have some of the same interests. He loves to watch Marvel movies and is also a big soccer fan and has found several friends that he can talk to about this with. He said that he is glad he's able to find friends and that he's able to share his interest and hang out with them.
We next asked, how is your experience growing up with BMD? He explains that when he was young, a group of boys in his class would pick on him for how he looked or make him feel bad when he couldn't keep up in sports and recess. As he grew older, he said that the people in his classes became more understanding and less critical of the fact that he has BMD. Even though he no longer experiences bullying, he said that these experiences made him realize he was different from everyone else, which wasn't a good feeling.
And finally, we asked him, how has having BMD changed your worldview? And what is his advice for someone who just got diagnosed with BMD? Our interviewee said that he is trying to make the best out of each day. There is no cure, but just temporary treatment. So he and his family are trying to make sure that they're living each day to the fullest. There is nothing really to do about it. And he states that he knows it's not going away anytime soon. So you just have to keep living with it. He would tell someone with BMD that it can be hard sometimes, but we are just like everyone else and everyone has something going on.
With that being said, we've reached the end of our interview questions with this individual living with BMD. We would like to thank our interviewee for spending time with us to share his experience dealing with this disease. We were able to learn a lot from him about some of the aspects of living with DMD or BMD or another form of muscular dystrophy that are not discussed as much. And we hope that you were able to learn something about them as well. We think it's incredibly important to note that the physical effects of muscular dystrophy are incredibly serious, but the effects on mental health may be equally devastating to an individual and their loved ones as well. In addition to the support group in which we found our interviewee, there are plenty more resources to help patients with muscular dystrophies, including BMD, as well as support options for their loved ones as well.
So one helpful resource is the MDA website, and this provides community events that can make individuals living with BMD feel less isolated, as well as even a summer camp, which is sponsored by MDA, which allows those living with BMD to create connections with one another. In addition, MDA care centers can be found across the country, including one here at UCLA. Here, patients with BMD are treated holistically from nutritional to emotional support. And you can check out these resources and more at mda.org. As displayed by this interview, there's still much work to do to provide accessible psychological and social services for all individuals living with muscular dystrophies and to find a cure. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation, and we hope that you have a great rest of your day.